This is the reading memoir of Dennis Hehir. Unfortunately, growing up, I didn't really care too much for reading, mostly because I couldn't sit still long enough. But in my early childhood, I really liked Dr. Seuss books, especially Green Eggs and Ham, and I actually, because of the book, I ate green eggs and ham and I enjoyed it. I also liked Clifford the Big Red Dog as well as Curious George, and because of the Curious George book, growing up I always wanted a monkey. And I also read a few of the normal books that other kids read: Three Little Pigs, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and Where the Wild Things Are. Later on in elementary school, I had some struggles reading, and I had a tutor, and the tutor had me reading Boxcar Children books. And I think I enjoyed those. I don't have a very good memory of this. I also read Charlotte's Web in elementary school. And here is a whole page dedicated to Goosebumps. Goosebumps was my favorite reading growing up. I truly enjoyed it. I read most of the original Goosebumps books, and then later on they had books where you choose which route you want to go and things like that, and I really enjoyed those, though I finished those in like a few pages most of the time. Later on, I also read The Outsiders and The Swiss Family Robinson. I really enjoyed The Outsiders. It was a pretty interesting book. And The Swiss Family Robinson was a pretty difficult read for me when I read it, but eventually I got into it and really enjoyed the book. Then in my adulthood, I haven't really read a whole lot of books, but I read a Alicia Keys book that was pretty awesome. It was mostly just poetry and everything. And then another book called Never Anything Too Easy. It was a pretty inspirational book. I also read A Message to Garcia, which was a book that was on the Commandant's reading list while I was in the Marine Corps, and more or less it was a book about following orders. I also read The Checklist Manifesto. It was a pretty interesting book, basically discussing the benefits of having checklists for work-related tasks and everything. And then I also read a good amount of Driven to Distraction. It was a book about attention deficit disorder. When I was reading it, I felt like it was telling my life story, and it became very interesting to me. Unfortunately, I never finished this book. I will eventually.